How to flip properties as a beginner. Let's go. Do you want to get out of your 9 to 5, financial freedom, passive income, or do you just want to buy the most outrageous stuff in the world? This is the video for you. So first things first, you need to figure out how much money you've actually got to flip properties. Are you going to be using all cash? Do you need to find a mortgage broker that can assist you with bridging? Or do you need to use other people's money? That is the first thing that you need to establish. You have to be able to build credibility in order to attract investors if you don't have your own money to flip properties. Now, there are a number of ways that you can build credibility. Social media is social proof. It's really important that you have a good social media and it shows you are doing what you are asking money for, basically. So if you're looking for an investor to flip a property and they can't see anything on your social medias that you are out there doing property, you've got a very, very slim chance, unless you've got friends and family who are willing to give you money and they know what you're doing. But outside people, you've got no chance at all. Now, you can also be around the right people. You can join certain networks, you can be parts of circles. There's so many things you can do to build credibility, but you have to show people what you are doing. It's the key to success. If you don't let people know what you are doing, how are people ever going to invest in you? Next up, it's all about location. So because you're going to be doing flips and you're a beginner, you need to do it within a certain radius of where you live, because you want to be able to visit. You want to be able to understand what's going on. You want to be on top of contractors. So figuring out the location is next. Your budget needs to fit the location that you look at. So budget is massive when it comes to location. Now, we all would love to flip houses there, but we can't afford to do it because London, you have to leave to the next level of wealth, unfortunately. Some of you on here might have that, but some of you probably won't. Don't get it twisted. House flipping works all over the UK. Somebody will always buy a property if it's at the right price. Now, this is a great place. The Midlands is a great place. Manchester's a great place. Liverpool's a great place, because capital appreciation on properties that you're selling will always be better than areas like Durham, or if I'm right, Middlesbrough and Doncaster and places like those. But you need to figure out where you're going. You need to figure out what figures you've got, what your budget is, and where you can flip a property correctly. Understanding return on investment. What is going to be your expected ROI, not your dream big ROI? So money works in very simple ways. 6, 8, 10, 12, 15%. I always look at about 10 to 15% profit after everything, and it's served me well so far in my property journey. If you're sitting at home now and you have 20,000, 40,000, 80,000 or 100,000 pound in the bank, and you go, I want to double it on my first one, property's not for you. Yes, it can happen, and yes, it does happen, but it usually happens with more experienced investors and more experienced developers, because more doors open with the more work you do and the more you network. So figure out what you want to make on your money, speak to professionals, speak to people like me. We will tell you if you're on the right track, if you're in the right ballpark, and then we can get moving. So now you need to get a property for the right price. And there is a formula, there is a way to do it. You should always work backwards. Being a newbie, right at the beginning, you are probably going to be using Rightmove or an estate agent. Direct to vendor, leads coming from social media, etc., probably is not going to happen for you right at the beginning. But whatever you see on Rightmove, whatever you see on Zoopla, that doesn't mean it's the price you have to pay. So watch this. The price that you see on Rightmove, Zoopla, on the market is not the price that you have to pay. That's the price that the agents have listed the properties for. So let me give you an example. If you are buying a property in the Midlands and it's listed for £200,000, and you sit there, you work out the refurb costs, you say it needs a new kitchen, a new bathroom, might need a rewire, and you say that the refurb is coming in at £30,000, so you're all in with stamp and legals for about £235,000. It's your job now to get comparables. It's your job to find out what was sold in the area and what prices were they sold for. So let's say you see that some properties sold for 220,000, you saw that some properties sold for 230,000, and you base that within a 12 to 18 month period. Now, you can clearly see with the way the market is today as well, that these prices are a little bit cheaper than what you are actually going to spend. But all that means is the asking price needs to be negotiated. You need to figure out what percentage that you're looking to make on a flip. Now, good percentages are 15 to 25%. They're good percentages. Most seasoned investors, after tax and they take everything out, are happy with a 10% profit. So if you've got a property that's £200,000 and you want to make a 20% profit, let's say, you know you need to secure that property for 160,000. If you want to make a 10% profit, you know that you have to secure that property for £180,000. Now, a lot of people who are watching this, you might be very new to the property world, or you might have done a little bit in the property world. The prices on Rightmove are always negotiable, and that's where you need to figure out how do you add value to the person that you're buying the property from. How can you make your offer attractive? How can you get them to say, you know what, we wanted 200, but we're happy to accept 180. We're happy to accept 160. What makes you stand out? But always remember, work backwards, get the price, get the refurb cost, find the end values, make sure you've got it done correctly, and then figure out what you've got to pay for that property in order to achieve the percentage that you want to make on the flip. When it comes to flipping properties, it's all about adding value, creating that wow factor that makes somebody walk in and go, I have to buy that property. Now, some of the things that I do, you are in one of my latest flips. I have walls knocked out. I create space. I make the property neutral. I add spotlights. I choose certain flooring. I use all neutral colours. But you need to figure out how you are going to add value in order to create that profit. So when it comes to adding value to properties, there are multiple ways. You can completely back to brick a property, you can update a property, you can add extensions, whether it be a rear story, a double rear story, a single story side, a double story side extension, a loft extension. There's multiple ways that you can add value in order to make a profit when you're flipping properties. But there's also different strategies. You can look at HMOs, you can look at flat conversions, you can look at self-contained units, you can look at care homes, you can look at children's care homes, you can look at certain different strategies in order to provide a service, which means you will make money when you flip a property. When you find a property, see if you can take it from a 2-bedroom into a 3-bedroom, a 3-bedroom into a 4-bedroom, adding an ensuite, moving the bathroom from downstairs to upstairs or vice versa, depending on the area. If you can add space internally, this will also add value. This is where the money comes. This is where you sell the property and you make money. Now, picking the right agents is key. Having somebody who's knowledgeable and gives you the right end valuation so you don't put it on the market and have to lower your asking price. That's not what you want to do. You also might want to consider staging. Now, when you stage a property, it lets people who are looking to buy it to live there get a feeling of what it can be like. So staging a property is another little tip that I would give you, but this is the part where the money's there. This is the part where you potentially have that amount of money in your hands that you have made from the flip, but you've got to get somebody to say, wow.